Hi there, my name is Bruce Cook and I am the founder, president, and CEO of Cook Glass Creations. You know, when we're exhibiting at one of the many Christmas Made in the South shows, lots of our customers will ask, well, exactly how is it that you make what you're doing here? And so at a show it's obviously difficult for me to explain that with the amount of equipment and the amount of tools and everything else that's required, not to mention the time. So it's difficult to explain that. So what I'd like to do with your help and patience is explain just what I'm doing in just a brief minute or two here. And so what we're going to do is make a pendant. But first I want to show you some of the glass that I use. Most of the glass I use is what's called a dichroic glass. And a dichroic glass is nothing more than a surface that is coated with a substance that makes different colors. And as you can see here, this is one of them. This is called a violet glass and it's put on black glass. The coating can be either on black or clear. Another example is this glass. This is a textured glass and it's on clear, as you can see. What's nice is to influence the color. Sometimes I can add a color and make it yet a different color. In addition, there are also dichroic glasses that have patterns. And as you can see, this is not a real matchy-matchy type of glass. And finally, I have another glass. This is on a real heavily textured glass. This is called ripple glass, and you can see how the colors fluctuate depending on the angle that you're looking at it with. It's one of the real great characteristics of dichroic glass. So, without further ado, we are going to make a pendant. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip of glass from another piece of dichroic glass. This has a small texture to it, and it's called blue gold color. So I'm going to take my trusty glass cutter here, and I'm going to place this down. I have what are called stops, and these are set up at different widths so that I don't have to measure this each time. And I'm just going to score the glass like that, and then I'm going to break it off like that. And then what I will do is I have another stop. I'm going to put this strip in there and make a rectangle like that. So there's our dichroic piece of glass. Now in most of the pieces that I use, we're going to need a second piece of glass that goes on top of it. That's called a cap. The cap is usually clear, like this glass, but sometimes it can be blue, red, yellow, just depending on what I'm doing and what color I'm trying to achieve. So I will set up the stops for the clear glass, and then we will cut that. Once again, I cut my strip, and then I will cut this piece to create the rectangle. And this now becomes the top piece, once again called the cap. So after I clean this with a solution of alcohol and vinegar to get all of the cutting oil from my glass cutter and any smudges I may make on my hands, I will then come over to the kiln, and we're going to place this carefully into the kiln. Now one of the things you see on here is a piece of paper called kiln shelf paper. That is put on there so that the glass will not stick to my kiln shelf here. So what I'm going to do is place the dichroic piece of glass on here, and then I place the clear piece of glass on top of this, and what I'm doing is I want this to be equally spaced around the bottom piece so that all of the sides are even, the top and bottom are even, and set that up in the kiln like that real carefully. I close up the kiln. And from there, I turn the kiln on to what's called the controller, and from there I program the controller to say how fast you're going to go and what temperature you're going to go at until the whole thing is done, which takes about 3 hours. And when that's all finished, I take it out of the kiln, and I'm going to have a piece of glass that was going to look like this. It's all fused together, which is what fused glass means, and that's our pendant. Thank you for watching.